Good morning, it's 6 o'clock. I'm Kay Gregory. A view New Zealand should get more involved in diplomacy in the Middle East as Israel's war with Hamas rages on. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has been visiting the region. Democracy Project geopolitical analyst Geoffrey Miller says it's naive to believe New Zealand has no part to play in the conflict. He says Foreign Affairs Minister Winston Peters should follow in Blinken's footsteps.
Talk to others in the region about what is happening on the ground, to listen, to learn, and then to take the next steps. And I think New Zealand's role really could be in that de-escalation and dialogue space.
Good morning, it's 7 o'clock. I'm Kay Gregory. A Middle East expert says New Zealand has its part to play in diffusing the current conflict. Democracy Project geopolitical analyst Geoffrey Miller says Foreign Minister Winston Peters should visit the region with open ears. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken's been visiting, and his Australian counterpart Penny Wong is planning a trip as well. Miller says the conflict has spread well past the borders of Israel and Gaza.
We cannot see the Middle East simply as someone else's problem. It does impact New Zealand, as we're seeing with the impact on global trade from these attacks on commercial shipping.
Streaming live on iHeartRadio, this is News Talk ZB News.
Good morning, it's 11 o'clock. I'm Donna Marie Lever. Attacks on the Houthi rebels won't solve the issues in the Middle East, according to some. The US and UK have launched air and sea attacks against the group in retaliation to a series of attacks on ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. New Zealand joined 8 other nations in supporting the strikes, saying it follows multiple clear warnings. Democracy Project geopolitical analyst Geoffrey Miller says dialogue would have been the best solution.
It leaves us with question what happens next, and will this solve the problem? I don't believe it will. I think in the end we need de-escalation, not escalation in the Middle East.
Early edition, returning soon for 2024. This is News Talk ZB News.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm Sandy Hodge. A Middle East expert isn't surprised by the US and UK attacks against the Houthi rebels. The US and UK have launched military strikes in Yemen in response to the Iran-backed group's attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. Since the attacks, the Houthis have threatened that all American British interests have become legitimate targets for the Yemeni armed forces. Democracy Project geopolitical analyst Geoffrey Miller says this was well telegraphed.
The US and around a dozen other governments, including New Zealand, issued a joint statement around about 10 days ago telling the Houthis to stop or there would be consequences. These are the consequences.